A jingle, louder and more obnoxious than the doorbell ringing. With it, the smell of gently steamed rice, like a fog, a congealment of starch in the air. Sikvana, Amar bellows, as if the chirp of the rice cooker isn't mobilizing enough. I'm still clearing my books from the table when she appears at the dining room door. Sikvana, she repeats, this time with more bite. Time to eat is what she's saying. Why haven't you set the table is what she means. Amar has always been impatient. One day it'll be the end of her, when she discharges herself from the oncology ward, where she's worked for most of her life, only to be dragged back a fortnight later, never to leave. But today, it means she's burned herself on the stove again. Stir-frying bok choy should never be this incendiary, but Amar hasn't got time to blot her vegetables before flinging them into the wok. The rush of water hitting oil drowns out the sounds of her cursing. This is Amar at her most efficient, a whirlwind blurring from stove to sink, sometimes brandishing a spatula, other times a knife. It's more of a meat cleaver, really, but Amar wields it like a surgeon might do a scalpel. Papa calls it wasted potential. Amar always tells her to go and pokkai. Tomorrow, she says, gesturing at the rice and choy. You bring this for lunch, all right? She's asking as though I have a choice. The all right comes out skewed, too, more all right than anything else. I can't tell if it's because Amar still gets her R's and L's mixed up on her tongue, or because there's too much food in her mouth to leave much room for enunciation. I nod, silent. She nods, satisfied. Her chopsticks scrape the bottom of her bowl, rhythmic, musical, like champagne flutes chinking together in quiet celebration. Sin-san catches me throwing out my lunch that week. She's a tall, imposing sort of woman, more a pawpaw than an Amar if we're going by the number of white hairs on her head. She has that uncanny ability that most Sin-san lack, to command a class of rowdy children with a single, sharp look out of the corner of her eyes. What are you up to, she demands, hauling me away from the bins by the scruff of my neck. She's strong, surprisingly so. Papa attributes that to her being a Hakyan, but Amar says that being black is only one part of it. She likes Mrs. Emmanuel. They chat for longer than they're supposed to on parents' evenings, though how they understand each other is a mystery to me. Perhaps they found common ground, swapping swallowed-up th sounds between them, or sharing a mutual love for rhetorical questions, most of which end in the translingual syllable ah. It comes as no surprise that Amar finds out that I've been dumping my lunch. She doesn't smack me for it, doesn't even ask me why. It doesn't occur to me that this revelation has hurt her, because Amar is the strongest person I know. Stronger, even, than Mrs. Emmanuel. But she's quiet as she scrapes the rice grains from my thermos and retires it to the back of the kitchen cupboard. Now leftovers go in Tupperware. Tupperware goes into the fridge. Amar always cooks more than enough, because old habits die hard, but also because Amar never stops thinking about tomorrow, or the day after that. White bread appears in the kitchen. Amar has always been impatient. She's got the pots and pans to prove it, their bottoms scalded beyond repair. In Cantonese, we call it wok hei, as though food is supposed to taste of charcoal and of last night's dinner, and of dinner 3 nights before that. My lunchbox no longer smells of it. It smells just like everyone else's, of yeast and cling film, juice cartons and bruised fruit. No one peers over my shoulder to poke fun at my rice. No one accuses me of eating maggots, when it's clear it's just chow mein. As one, we tuck into identical sandwiches, and though my bread's a little stale and my ham's much too salty, I swallow my mouthful and smile. Mrs. Emmanuel looks away. Sikvana, Amar grunts later that evening. My stomach growls as she sets a bowl of rice down on the table, followed by a plate of song. The meat pieces are charred, blackened to the point of almost inedible. My mouth waters as I pick up my chopsticks. Amar serves me first, as she always has done. We eat.